I kept it here.
What happened?
My bottle, I kept it in this very pouch and it's missing.
You might have misplaced it somewhere.
Are you questioning my memory?
No, but
No, bro. Are you saying that my bottle just magically jumped out of the bag or something? No, no. This is an act of malice by a sadistic individual who went out of his way just to mock me, to steal my bottle. This is an act of crime. Every crime has a list of potential suspects. Anyone who was within the vicinity of the bottle, no one can be trusted, not even your own roommate.
it's the middle of the night. Why have you called me here?
You are the last person I saw before I realized the bottle was missing. And that makes you a prime suspect.
You could have done this in the room itself.
Don't play games with me, Ganesh. I know you took my bottle after I returned to the room.
You literally saw me sleeping the entire time, bro.
A perfect cover up.
Isn't it possible that someone already stole your bottle before you returned to the room? Where were you returning from?
I was watching a movie in the room 8204.
Which movie, bro?
Triple R. Why? Is that relevant?
No, not really. I was just curious, but were there other people in A204?
It was me, Ishan, Matthew, Deepak, and Raghu.
Do you remember having the bottle with you before entering A204?
I think so, yes. I think I left for a midnight snack at exactly 12. I ate sandwich from the canteen, and yeah, I left my bag in the room.
What time did you return?
Around 12:30.
Don't you think someone may have?
I got it. Someone must have stolen it then. This case just got a lot more interesting. You have my permission, really.
Okay.
One suspect has been ruled out, but four remain. The game continues. You had called me? Ah, Ishan Gupta. Please, do sit down. So, do you remember that one night where you had spent in A204?
Yes, of course I do. It was like yesterday. I think you were watching some Telugu movie.
Ah, and what about reaching to my bag and taking something?
No, why would I do that? Me and Matthew were working on a database project. It was to be submitted at 12, but we were overdue.
Do you remember me leaving at around 12?
No, I honestly don't remember. We were pretty focused on our project until the exam results came. Then we got
What?
distracted.
Yes, the physics results came yesterday. You didn't know.
Really? What time?
Somewhere around 12:30, I think.
If you are really as focused in your project as you claim to be, you would have kept track of time.
12:21. I'm pretty sure about it.
So, did you notice any suspicious characters while I was gone?
Like I said, I was working on the project, so why would I know?
Okay, fine.
Wait, I do remember looking at Deepak. He was acting pretty weird and nervous. I think he left just right after the marks were released.
Interesting. So tell me, Deepak, why were you in A204 yesterday?
First of all, why are you interrogating me like this? And for that A204, like I was there doing my maths assignment, and I am sure that you must remember that I asked you if you had completed your maths assignments.
And I told you I finished. I remember. Afterwards. Did you take anything from my bag?
What? No. Where did you get such an idea?
Then why did you leave when the marks got released?
What?
I know you heard the question. Don't act innocent.
Yeah, I left. I left to get my phone to see my marks. Yeah.
You didn't have your phone with you. That's the best you can come up with?
Why would I have my phone, bro? The assignment was pen and paper, so there's no use of phone.
Okay, you can leave. Just one last thing. Are you hiding something? Something really deep? It's a joke. You know, because your name has deep in it.
Like I was just
No, but seriously, I was told by an informant that you look nervously on that day. Now, why would you be nervous?
Like I was just doing my homework. You can ask Raghuveer, I guess.
Yeah, I remember people kept on coming to me and asking me for math assignments.
So what did you tell him?
I told him to get lost. I had much more important things to do. But he kept on going here and there in the room in search of some hope.
So what were you doing in 8204?
I was investing in Bitcoin. These people think that if they study hard and they will work and get good grades, then they will get really a good life. But that's not true. They'll just become a nobody in this world.
Yeah, that's alright. But did you take anything from Varun's bag?
Why would I ever bother doing that?
I was gone to snack from 12 to 12:30. Do you remember anyone taking my bottle then?
Your bottle?
Yeah, do you remember it?
Oh, that steel bottle which had a rectangular label and something blue on it, and it had its brand name started. P.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember seeing it in your bag, but I don't remember it being stolen.
Don't you find it too suspicious that he knows the exact details of your bottle?
Look, Ganesh, when you and Varun called me, I could have refused, but I came here as an act of generosity to help you guys. I clearly remember what your bottle looks like because I remember things correctly, but that doesn't mean that I would be stealing your bottle. Why would I even do that? Look, I'm just here to help.
So, did you see anyone else coming near my bag?
As a matter of fact, I do remember Matthew snooping around your bag, but I'm not sure if he stole it.
It makes sense why Matthew would do this. At what time did you see him?
Around 5 minutes after 12.
Are you sure you can handle this interrogation without me?
No, I can manage.
Don't let your history with him affect your thinking. I assume you haven't paid him back yet.
Yeah, I told you right, I'll pay him soon.
Hey, hello, bro.
Thanks for coming, Matthew.
Let's
I know.
discuss this over with.
Fine.
I guess Ishan would have already told you. You're working on a
Yes, data structures project. I know.
database project.
Okay, same thing.
Not really.
Let me do the interrogating here, okay?
Alright, how about this? You first give me the 150 rupees you borrowed from me and then we do the interrogation, alright?
Don't worry, as I said to you many times, I will pay back soon.
Soon? This is what you told me last month too. I've learned that this word means nothing to you.
So that's what this is about. You taking my bottle to make things even. For your information, that bottle is so much more valuable than your 150 rupees. And money cannot describe its value.
Yeah, everyone knows about your love towards a bottle. But I didn't take it. I will never sink to such a low level.
Then why did you go to my bag?
Who told you that?
Raghuvir told me.
Really? Raghuvi, that psycho? Unlike him, me and Ishan had actual work to do that day.
Wasn't he investing in Bitcoin?
Yeah, one day he's investing in Bitcoin, the next he learns hacking, and one day he just decided to start his own company. Me and Ishan suspect that he was probably just watching Andrew Tate the entire time. But when we suggested that idea to him, he didn't seem to like it that much.
I just talked to your friend Matthew. He seems to suspect Raghuvir and Raghuvir seems to suspect him.
Well, Matthew was pretty frustrated about the project being overdue. But he's a good guy. I don't think he will steal anything from your bag. But what was stolen anyways?
A bottle. And you would say that because you are his friend. But Matthew seems to have a grudge on me for some reason.
It's perfectly valid reason. You haven't paid him the 150 rupees that have been due.
Okay, so everyone knows that story?
Well, Raghuveer is pretty insecure about looking stupid. It's Deepak that I suspect.
Can you tell me what events took place after the marks have arrived at 12:21?
I think it was Raghuveer who announced that the exam marks arrived. After which, Matthew and I immediately started to log in into our accounts. This was when I noticed Deepak quickly walking out of the room. After this, me and Matthew saw each other's grades. Then, Raghuveer came over to ask how much we got. We asked Raghuveer how much he got, but I believe he replied by saying A minus and I didn't even study.
Really? He got A minus?
Unlikely. Raghuveer is too proud to admit failure in any form.
Clearly, everyone are hiding some essential details. But I know one person who will talk, who will crack like an egg under right conditions. It's time for the backup strategy.
Really? You?
You don't want to see me angry, Ganesh. Please leave the room.
Okay, as you say.
Where did Ganesh just leave? Where is he?
Don't worry about him. It's just you and me now. And you, sir, are in deep trouble. This wasn't a joke. Do I look like I'm joking? Why did you take my bottle?
I didn't take your bottle.
I'm
I swear.
losing my patience.
I swear I didn't take your bottle.
Why did you run out of the room? What are you hiding?
I went to take my phone.
Wrong answer.
I swear I went to take my phone.
Why did you run out of the room?
Because of the notice I left me.
Note?
I don't know, bro. There I was doing a math assignment, eating my Jam Jam biscuits. And then I saw a note on my table saying, "You owe me." I looked over and I saw Ishan staring at me. His eyes were locked on me, and inside I could see rage, endless rage. I felt like I was going to be killed or something. I had to get out of there.
That is not what I was expecting.
Can I leave now, please?
I already told you everything.
Deepak tells me that you gave him a stare of death and a threatening note.
A death stare? What does it even mean?
I suppose like this. That's why he was acting nervous.
No, this is what happened. Me and Matthew were pretty hungry after working on our project. I looked over to Deepak and I saw a Jim Jam.
Jim Jams.
At that point of time, I could only focus on Jim Jam. I was going to ask him for some, but he started acting somewhat weird.
Then what about the threatening note?
See, I didn't put any threatening note. I'm a simple man. I see Jim Jam, I eat Jim Jam. That's the end of it.
Clearly, the investigation was going in cycles. People just blaming each other, muddled with vengeance, arrogance, fear, and Jim Jams. So, it was time to go back to the crime scene itself.
Did you ask the security guard?
Yeah, he told me that no one entered the room after Isha and Matthew left.
Okay. Here. Deepak was sitting here. Raghuveer was sitting there. Ishan and Matthew were sitting there and there.
Okay, then I'll check that side.
Yes.
Why are we here? What are we looking for?
Just clues.
Don't panic, Varun. Look what I found underneath the table.
Whose table was this under?
It was in the Matthew's table.
He decapitated my bottle and threw it like a piece of garbage. Call everyone. I have everything I need. Just a shell whistle.
Stop, Varun. You are not thinking clearly, Varun. To solve this case, you need to think logically and take control over your emotions.
Silence! For the last hour, I spent clearing my mind and thinking about the stories you all have told me. The truths, the lies, and I've finally come to a decision. At first, I thought to myself, who appears to be the most guilty of any crime at all? One person stood above the rest. I thought about it deeply.
And you finally realized that I was innocent all along.
Oh no, you are guilty. I can read it from your face. You are guilty not of stealing my bottle, but of stealing my maths assignment. I had my suspicions on Deepak from the beginning when Raghuveer told me he was roaming around the room. You had asked me if I finished my assignment, to which I replied yes. Then you asked Raghuveer for help, but he declined. Ishan and Matthew were busy themselves. So at around 12:08, what did you do?
Alright, I admit I might have taken your maths assignment from your bag and then copied it.
Of course you did. Everything was going fine. You were eating those Jim Jams and copying my assignment until you read that threatening note. And what did it read? You owe me. No one would fear a note like that without context. But you assumed that someone saw you stealing the assignment. And when you looked up, who did you see but the rage-induced, hungry Ishan desperate for Jim Jams? The note was never meant for you. It was meant for me. It was merely a coincidence that you got it. Now who would I owe something to? The man who has a grudge against me. The man with the most motive. Matthew. Like Ishan said, you two were hungry and frustrated with the project. And Raghu saw you going to my bag at 12:03. It seems that in your angered state, you decided to slip a threatening note into my bag. But it never reached me. Instead, when Deepak went to steal my assignment, he must have taken it too by mistake, not realizing he had picked it up. And after Deepak got paranoid, he knew he had to return the assignment. So, during the confusion of the marks, he quickly returned the assignment to my bag and ran out of the room. But these are all just assumptions. So I went to A204 to investigate. And what did I find under Matthew's desk there?
Alright, I was angry at you. I was really stressed about the project. I don't know what I was thinking and I slipped the note into your bag. But I didn't take your bottle and I don't know how the cap got there. I've clearly been framed, I'm telling you.
I wasn't done talking though. Even I too was convinced that you were guilty at first. But it made no sense. Why would you hide the bottle cap under your own desk? But all this time there's one person who's known to be untrustworthy. The answer was right in front of me this whole time. He even knew the exact details of my bottle. Everything worked in his favor. All he had to do was walk up to my bag and take the bottle, then put it in his bag at 12:25. Of course, Matthew and Ishan wouldn't notice the bottle being stolen. They were busy checking their marks. But they did notice Raghu standing up. So, to make it look natural, he walked up to their desk to ask them their marks. But his hands weren't empty. He was still holding the bottle cap in his palm. Everything was clear except his motive. When the exam results released, I'm guessing Raghuveer wasn't too satisfied with his results. He felt a desperate need to defeat Matthew and Ishan in some way or the other. And I've learned that everyone in this college seems to know about two things: my love for my bottle, Matthew's hatred towards me. All he needed to do was combine both the things and frame Matthew, and the conditions were just too perfect. So the person who stole my bottle was Raghuveer!
That's a great story, but you don't have any proof.
That's why I had Ganesh go to your room and search for the bottle while you're distracted by my monologue.
What?
If everything goes according to the plan, I should be receiving a picture right now. The picture of bottle in your cabinet.